Hello, everybody. Just taking a collective sigh as I wait for Facebook to tell me that I'm live. I think I always go live before it's confusing. Welcome to the live. I did not let you know ahead of time about this. I apologize. It's just kind of been a week of catch up after being gone in California. But I wanted to make sure that I got on here this week to just check in and say hi and, be with you all. So, always, if you're live, you can always ask questions in the comment section and just always say hello. I always like to know who's here. And if you're watching later, just say #replay. And there are a lot of new people here, so I'll just do a brief introduction. My name's Erin, and I am a woman of many things. One of those is two of those things are being a coach and an energy healer. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I'm a master yoga teacher trainer, and I don't even, that's such a dumb thing to say. But it just means I have the highest level you can get in Yoga Alliance. I don't even know why I shared that. But anyway, I do a lot of different things. And my biggest thing is really just in helping you feel safe, move through trauma so that you can really be who you really are, right? I have a background of childhood trauma, adult traumas, CPTSD. I've been told that I have anxiety disorder. So, I've got all kinds of fun things. So I teach both from my learned experience. I have a degree in psychology. I've studied the subconscious mind for many, many years. And also from my own learned experiences, what I've physically went through in my life and how I've helped myself through different things. And then obviously I have coaching certifications and all of that. That was not a brief introduction by any means. But anyway, hello. Hey, Sarah. What is up, girl? So let's see. I wanted to share today, just briefly, those of you that follow me over on Instagram, you might see me posting a lot about the nervous system. And that's been my greatest, research that I've been doing in the last 6 months. I'm very much go very into things. I try to learn as much as I can. I'm always working on wanting to learn that information for myself, first and foremost, to help myself. And then if it's something that really works for me, I'm always kind of my first guinea pig, then I like to share it with other people. And doing the nervous system work has been some of the most profound work I've done. Aside from maybe the energy healing, theta healing that I practice, where we go in and clear blocks in the subconscious mind. The nervous system stuff, that's like working on our energy and a bit on our mind. Obviously, there's lots of mindset work that we do, but the nervous system stuff is the body. And, all the research says that the trauma is in our body and it gets stored there. And so we have to find ways to move that through. But for me, really, what's been profound about learning about the nervous system is understanding for myself when I'm activated, when my nervous system, when I've moved into a fight, flight, or freeze state. And these unconscious ways and seemingly really not obvious ways that we can get activated and go into a nervous system trauma response. And this is especially true for any of us that have had childhood trauma or CPTSD. Everybody has the ability to go into these states. Obviously our bodies are all wired that we can go into fight, flight, or freeze. It's a protective mechanism. the issue for people that have had especially childhood trauma, most likely for childhood trauma, it was ongoing. So it's not just like one big event, although that can happen. Oftentimes, it's multiple events. For instance, growing up with an alcoholic, like I did, that's not just a one and done event. It's almost every day of your life as a child, right? And I know a lot of you in here can resonate with that. So, for those of us that have, some of that childhood stuff going on, we can get activated very easily, and it can be very challenging and very difficult to calm the body back down. It's almost becomes like I've basically lived in a state of fight or flight most of my life. So it is so unconscious for me to even notice when that switch goes on. And it takes a lot of dedicated effort to really have an awareness, to really know when that's going on. But I'm learning so much, and I really feel like it's, first of all, just super interesting to just notice, because this is just like a biological response. This is like an animalistic thing that happens. And it's just been really interesting to kind of unravel these aspects. So I just want to give you some ways right now that your nervous system may be getting activated, or ways that it could get activated that you may not be aware of, and that I've just learned. And so you'll have to let me know in the comments section if any of these resonate with you, because I know when I first heard some of these, it was like a mind-blowing moment for me. So the first one is, and when I say activated, it's like your nervous system can literally get turned on. And I don't mean turned on in a good way. It can get turned on as if you're being, the same way as if you're being chased by a tiger. Okay, so our nervous systems are, some of our nervous systems are so sensitive. And into this group in here, it's like when you couple childhood trauma with being a highly sensitive human, that's like a recipe for disaster. Because we already are born, like, HSPs, highly sensitive people, that's like a psychological term. This isn't just some, I've said this before. It's not just some woo-woo thing that we made up to make ourselves feel good. It's actually a psychological term. It affects 20% of the population, and it means you already have a sensitive nervous system. Hello. So we're working double time against ourselves when you already have this sensitive nervous system, and then along comes childhood trauma, which, as I just explained, is not just a one and done thing. It's probably something you dealt with on a daily basis, as I did growing up with an alcoholic who is very volatile, right? It's not just one and done. Amy, I don't even know when I said I'm sorry, but hi, Amy. That's right. We don't say we're sorry around here. We say we're sexy. I don't know when I said I was sorry, though, but you're right. I am sexy. Thank you. So, yeah, we are working. We have to work really hard, almost harder, not almost. We have to work much harder than the average human, because we already have these sensitive nervous systems. And then you introduce the childhood trauma, and that just amplifies everything. So then we grow up and we wonder why, we get stuck in overwhelm. This was a big one for me. I'd get so overwhelmed, and I was actually feeling that today. I wasn't super planned today, even though I had a plan of what I needed to do. I was just kind of being like lackadaisical, and then trying to I was working here or there, and then all of a sudden I was just like, oh my gosh, it's like 12 o'clock and I've not gotten anything done that I wanted to get done, and then I was beating myself up, and then I was like, whoa. Like, that used to be where I lived. Who feels me on this? Like, in a shitstorm on a daily basis. And today I was able to kind of step back. Yesterday was a very emotional day. I was really working heavily through some hardcore emotions, and I think I'm still learning about my own nervous system. The thing about our nervous systems is This is an ongoing learning experience. Like, we're literally dealing with biology and like reactions that are those knee-jerk reactions, like instinctual, that's the word I was looking for. We're working with instinctual, like animalistic reactions that we can't voluntarily control. We can't analyze and think our way through. This is your body. Your body is animalistic, right? It's not just, well, let me sit and meditate on this for 5 minutes. It doesn't work like that. Like, your body, if it's activated, if it feels threatened, if your nervous system feels threatened, it's going to feel like a rush of chemicals. You're going to feel like you're in a shitstorm. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel like tripping over yourself. Or you're going to go into like kind of a frozen state where you can't like get anything done because it's just like you've been hit by a wall and maybe you just want to go numb out to Netflix. Like, this is real life, y'all. This is what happens. And it's animalistic. It's your body going into a instinctual state because it feels threatened. But here's the key. It can feel threatened by shit you would never even think of. And so I'm going to go into that, but I can tell I've gotten some comments. Sarah says relatable. I know, y'all are my people. I love you too. You guys are so great. Very interested in this. Can't wait, says Amy. Way to recognize. Yes, Sarah, way to recognize. Exactly. Yeah, it's all about recognizing and finding ways to work through it. And what I want to say is, like, it's not just like, oh, I worked through that once and now, you know, I'm good. Like, all of this work that we do in here, it's never one and done. It's an ongoing experience that we, you know, your body's going to feel threatened, especially as I explained, couple being a highly sensitive person, just that alone. So maybe you didn't experience childhood trauma, but you're a highly sensitive person. That means your nervous system is already 20% more sensitive than the average human. This doesn't make us special. It doesn't make us great. We all know it's not necessarily a blessing, but it does come with its you know, superpowers, right? Woo, I'm talking a lot. But you couple that with trauma in childhood, ongoing childhood trauma, and you just have this recipe for disaster. So let me just share with you a couple ways. Yeah, it would be nice if it was one and done, right? I swear I'm working on a pill that's going to make me a quadruple trillionaire, that when we take it, it makes everything go away and we just become our true selves again. And I'm working on that, but so far it's not ready, nor will it ever be. But it's a nice thought. So let's talk about some ways that you might not even know that your nervous system is activated. Okay, or let me rephrase that. Some ways that your nervous system may feel threatened that you may not be aware of. There we go. So the first one I want to share is like getting an email. Getting an email, maybe like for me, I own my own business. So if, like, let's say if you own your own business, or maybe if you don't, there was a gnat. Sometimes I forget I'm on video and I just start doing random things that I would do if I wasn't on video. But the gnat needed to go away. So okay, if you own a business like myself, and if I get like a negative comment or an email where somebody is maybe they're just asking a question, or God forbid saying something negative about me, which has definitely happened. It's just part of putting yourself out into the world. If you don't own a business, maybe it's from your boss, a message from your boss being like, hey, I need this report by tonight at 5, and there's like a little edginess in the email, or, you know, the tone of voice is changed, or maybe he or she reaches out to you and is just like, you know, your numbers are down from last week. I don't know. I'm just making that up from my days when I used to work for people. that can produce a state of like activation in your nervous system. So for me, and it can feel many different ways, and so I encourage you to start exploring how it feels. We call that getting dysregulated. Okay, so when my nervous system is activated because it feels threatened, I go into a state of dysregulation. And dysregulation can look like tripping over things, dropping things, losing things, like I said, just being frozen, like kind of just unable, like just feeling like really exhausted, or like you're not really feeling anything, and maybe you just want to go curl up in a ball and watch Netflix, and you just need to zone out. That can sometimes the freeze response can come after like a big emotional, explosion. So literally, like what I wanted to say about that is that our nervous systems get activated as the same way as if we're being chased by a tiger. When it was just an email of your boss being like, hey, can I have that report by 5 p.m.? Or somebody asking me a question that feels like they're like saying something bad about me. Like it can activate the nervous system to the point of like feeling like you're being chased by a lion or a tiger or a bear. Oh my. The problem is I can't see your comments while I talk. I have to like scroll down to see your comments, but I see you all. I'm getting some let's go. Yes, queen. Exactly. Raising our hand. Yeah, so we're feeling this content. This to me, you guys, I share this because it has been profound for me, really and truly. And I really am excited to work with people on healing their nervous systems. This is the next piece of my evolution and my work because I see how important it is, because I see how effed up my nervous system got because of childhood trauma, and then again having a traumatic experience when I was 29 and just getting completely reactivated, my whole nervous system just super effed up, going through burnout, going through chronic fatigue because of that trauma, dealing with autoimmune disorders, dealing with hormonal issues, all because of trauma. So this has led me to this path of we've got to heal our bodies. We've got to heal our bodies because the issues are in the tissues. The trauma lives in our cells. It's all research-based now. Like research will say that the trauma is here, and we can't just talk about it. And I've known that. I've been a yoga teacher for many, many years. But to me, yoga, this is just me. A lot of people find relief in yoga. To me, yoga doesn't get into and help my nervous system the way some of these things have. Okay, but let me keep going. I did not plan on being on here long today. So as I mentioned, today has been all over the place. I'm having one of my all over the place days where it's like kind of touching my toe into some overwhelmed states, which I have not gone into. I remember that was a huge issue I was working on in 2020. Just I'd get so overwhelmed and like my whole system would be activated, but I didn't have this language back then. I didn't know to say, my nervous system feels threatened. And while we're on the topic of 2020 and the pandemic, let me tell you that you most certainly are going to be experiencing, if not already experiencing, trauma responses, nervous system activations from the pandemic. Okay, that was 2 years of our life. It's still going on in some ways. And it changed us. It rewired us in a different way. And we are going to have to pay attention to our bodies now to help our bodies through, because it's like we introduced a whole new threat to our system. I'm getting chills with that. I've never thought about that before, but here's what's coming through. We introduced a whole new threat to our system, and this threat of that the world could shut down. Before that happened, that was never even a thought in our mind, right? That didn't exist. And now all of a sudden it's like, is there going to be another, wave of this? Is this going to happen? And we're going to have to deal with this forever? Is the world going to shut down? Am I going to be able to travel? Blah, 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 blah. Right? And the news feeds off of this. Feeds off of this fear. So we've introduced this whole new thing to our nervous systems where there's this threat, an external threat. So again, I hope you can see that this is a dance. There's never going to be like calm 24/7. My nervous system is good. Ain't going to work like that. I don't care how enlightened you get. I don't care how amazing you are. Your nervous system is going to get fucking activated. Okay? And so, first step as always, in anything that we do is awareness. And for me, the language of my nervous system is activated right now because of. And naming it has been really, really helpful. Just that language alone has really shifted something in my brain, because when we are aware of it, now I can bring calm to my body. I can work on bringing calm to my body. It may not happen right away. Like I said, all day today, I've kind of been in this kind of all week. It's like I was in LA. I wasn't in LA. I was in Santa Barbara. And I was around other people. My friend works from her house. She's a realtor in Santa Barbara, California. She's got a lot going on. She's got a big personality. She's got roommates. There were issues with the roommates. The roommates had boyfriend things. There was just like a lot going on, and I'm very much used to like quiet. I'm used to being alone and quiet. And that's where I feel the best. And as my empath, I naturally want to go and help people, and I had to keep reeling myself in, but there were some nervous system activations being in that house. However beautiful and gorgeous and amazing that space was, if you were able to see any of my stories I was posting, it was right overlooking the ocean. It was unbelievably gorgeous. But I think I came back from that, and what I'm noticing this week is that I've gotten really angry. There was like displaced anger. It's not my period time. It's not before my. There was just like I was just getting snappy and angry and irritable and then I had a big emotional release yesterday doing some work, and then today I'm just like spinning. Okay, and I'm explaining all of this to you because I want you to kind of see the process of discovering your own dysregulation patterns. Because that's what you're going to be doing now. You're going to be excavating and looking for, where do I get dysregulated? And you'll just know by noticing how you feel. And the problem is that we don't complete these cycles of trauma. So like a bunny, when it's being chased by a wolf and it gets away, after that, because we have all this adrenaline runs through the animal's body, including us, when there's a threat to our systems. We get all this rush of adrenaline that makes us run or makes us fight or, or makes us freeze and play dead. Like animals do that. They play dead. Not just possums either. Like other animals will do this. This comes from Peter Levine, who created somatic experiencing, and I've taken his course. It's phenomenal. And the animal, after, if it gets away, God forbid it doesn't get eaten, will just naturally like do this little shaky thing. And in doing that, it kind of trembles. Like there's a video online of Peter Levine watching a polar bear after it gets shot. Some researchers shoot it with a tranquilizer gun, so it's passed out. And when it starts to wake up, it starts trembling. Like you can watch the polar bear, he's like going like that, looking kind of crazy. And it's because his body in the shaking is releasing the trauma. For us, we don't do that. We don't have a completion cycle. We think, I'm getting a nasty email from somebody. That was one. Let me give you two more examples of ways, you know how these talks go. They kind of weave around. But let's finish that thought that we don't have this completion cycle. We get this negative email from our boss or from a potential client or a current client, and our nervous system goes, we're going to run out of money, we're going to die, we're going to get fired, we're going to run out of money, and then we're going to live on the streets, and then we're going to die. Like, literally, that's what your nervous system does. And so it amps up. It gets ready to fight or flight, which is why a lot of times we get really defensive. So, like, maybe your boss messages you and you message back, yes, I'll have it to you, like saying something, just like out there, or to the client or whatever. I know I've done that before. If people have activated me, I've came back with, and it's like, dude, whoa, slow down. And it's just because instantly in those states, you're in fight or flight and you're fighting in that moment. I have to defend myself, right? So oftentimes fights with our partners, especially men, turn very defensive because they feel activated. Oh, Amy, I'm so glad you're liking this. Yeah, this is my new work. I am so excited. It's powerful shit. Yes, think of the collective feminine anger going on right now, of course. Sarah says, your trick of shaking off what we go through has helped her so much. After being around icky energy, arguments, fight, or flight moments has helped so much. I love that. Yay! Y'all do the work. I know that about you two that are on this call. So I mentioned, essentially we don't complete that trauma response cycle. I get this email, I get really pissed off, and then I go about my day, right? But my nervous system has not had a chance to come back down. So then I might trip and fall, or I might back my car into a parked car behind me, or I might run a red light and get pulled over by the cops. We start making all these mistakes. It's not to say if you make a mistake, that there's something wrong with you, but oftentimes we're making big mistakes when we're dysregulated. And the more we can learn to find where and how we get dysregulated and then bring ourselves back to a place of calm, the more we begin to heal our nervous systems. So 2 more things that make your nervous system feel threatened, possibly. I'm not saying, so everybody has different ways that they get dysregulated. Everybody has different ways that they feel threatened. A lot of this is based on how you were raised as a child. So if you were raised in chaos, like myself, yeah, we're going to get pretty much activated by a lot of shit, right? But just know, if I'm saying something and you're like, oh, that's not me, there may be other ways, different ways. These are just some ways to me that I was kind of like, whoa. So negative emails or comments or that sort of thing. The other one is, I have to breathe. I think I'm in an activated nervous system state talking about activated nervous systems. So let me just calm myself here. The second way, this was the one that made me kind of mind blown, that our nervous systems could possibly feel threatened, that may not make a lot of sense to you, is comparing yourself to others. So I know for me, there's been times, especially, during the pandemic, where I would be scrolling on Instagram and seeing all of these coaches, most of them younger than me, on Instagram. We don't know if that's true or not, but most likely, possibly true, seeming to do way better than I was currently doing. And it made so much sense to me when I heard that comparing yourself can make your nervous system feel threatened. And it does that because unconsciously your brain is saying, oh my gosh, there's all these people. They're all making money. They're all like getting all the clients, making all the money. And I'm going to be out on the street, broke, and die. Okay, so it's this ancient, cave woman DNA kind of thing where it's like all the tribe is over here with this person and you're alone, and so you're going to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. So our nervous system's just trying to protect us. Like, we'd never want to make the nervous system the bad guy. We just want to learn to understand what the possible threats can be so that we can use that information to help ourselves. Because you have this, Yogi Bhajan always said this, you have an animal self, a human self, and a divine self. He said angelic self. So, the nervous system and your brain, your primal brain, this is like your animal self. It just reacts. Somebody messages you and you're like, you're an asshole. Your partner asks for something and you're like, it's your fault. You did it wrong. You're the problem. It's you. Right? That's our animal self. It's very reactive. It's hungry. We eat like animals. It's like it's unconscious, it's instinctual, but it's not wrong. And in fact, the more you start to embrace that part of yourself, the more life gets a little easier, because it's like you can't always just be this divine, angelic human. You have needs, you have desires, you have wants, you have sexual wants, you have, food that you want. It's like, don't deny the animal part of you. There's no rising above it. As long as you're in this human body, it's animalistic, it's primal, it has certain needs like that. And to deny it is causing you pain. Ooh, Sarah, what did I say that was ouch? Type down there and let me know. Because again, I just am speaking and I can't always see. Sarah, I feel like something's resonating with Sarah. Adapt to the threat instead of moving through the fear. Yeah, Amy says. Adapt to the threat instead of moving through the fear. Yeah, we have to adapt. We have to adapt to what it is and move through the uncomfortable feelings, right? So everything we've talked about in here still applies. All the work I've done before still applies. We still have to feel the negative emotions. That's part of teaching your nervous system that these bigger, heavier, more painful emotions are okay to feel, because your nervous system also wants to protect you against that too. In some way, biologically, our brain thinks if we feel something really painful that we might just like collapse and die. So it also tries to protect you from feeling. So we want to feel it all and be really aware of where we get dysregulated. Oh, the comparing ourselves, Sarah said, yup. So comparison, it can, maybe not to everybody, but if this resonates for you, it can feel like a threat to your nervous system because they're taking something away from you, which consciously we know isn't true. But subconsciously, nervous system-wise, feels like this threat. And then there was a third one. Let me think of what it is. So we talked about the emails. These are uncommon ways that our nervous system feels threatened that you might not think of. Comparing ourselves. I just talked about all of this, and now I cannot remember. Oh my. It'll come or it won't come, but I think this has gone on quite a while. And I try to keep these short because I want y'all to watch them, and sometimes we don't watch videos that are too long. But hopefully this one you got a lot of information out of. And the trick is, like I said, keep a little notebook of like different things that you feel like activated your nervous system. You'll know you're activated if you feel really charged, really like you're in that spin, you're in that overwhelm, then we know that we've been activated. And so finding ways to calm down. So let's just talk about a couple of those ways. I think I've shared some in here before. But one, this comes from Peter Levine, is to just start squeezing your muscles. You can just do this. Oh, the third one, see, I knew it would come, is hurrying, rushing. Did you know that that activates your nervous system? And that's like a really big one. It's a really big one. And, you know, from doing this work, so we're just going to keep massaging our bodies. So the reason a lot of somatic work, somatic just means body. Soma is your body. So somatic work is body work, but not like somebody else doing it to you, but you like doing it to you. Tapping the thymus point is a good one to get back into your body. So when we're activated, when our nervous system is turned on, we are in our head. And so the first thing you need to do is to get back into your body when you realize it. So breath in through the nose, out through the nose. So if we start breathing or exhaling through our mouth, that's actually activating to our nervous system. Because it said, that's what we do when we're running. Right? When you're really running, you're breathing through your mouth. So it's nice and slow through the nose. Whatever you can do to slow down is what you want to be doing. Slow. Slowing everything down. Which, when you've lived in fight or flight your whole life, like myself, feels like death. This is just like throughout your day. What can you slow down? Can you give yourself an extra 20 minutes before you have to leave for an appointment to get ready? You know, like me, I will literally be doing things up until, and I'm like, oh, I can send one more email before I go. And then guess what? I'm running late to appointments. And since I've been really aware of this, it's almost gotten worse, which really sucks. Because now I'm like trying to put effort into like leaving early, not rushing, and it's like it's backfiring on me and it's getting worse. And it's really uncomfortable. And I remember my mom saying, hurry like a little bunny. Like that phrase has popped into my head a lot lately from doing this work. And I was like, wow, not only was I watching her live in a fight or flight state and being in one myself, but I was also being told. So I was auditorily being told, hurry up, let's go, hurry, 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 hurry. I remember that all the time, hurry like a bunny. And, you know, she probably wasn't doing that, you know, nobody knew about this shit back then, for sure. But there was no way of, that's not regulating to our nervous system. So there's a great example of Mr. Rogers. If anybody watched Mr. Rogers growing up, where, and I never super got into him, but I did watch it a bit. It kind of annoyed me, though, in the beginning of the show, how he's, like, so slow, and he, like, puts on his jacket, and he's buttoning it up, and he's talking really slowly, and he's tying his shoes really methodically and slowly. There's actually a reason for that. From some of the things I've read, Mr. Rogers, the guy, whoever the guy was that was in that character, he actually knew that a lot of children had trauma. And he knew that they were dysregulated. So what he was doing by talking in a slow, calm voice was helping to regulate. And then doing things in a slow way, he was helping those kids, myself included, to regulate. So I think that's a really great example if you want to go just like watch a little bit of Mr. Rogers. How can we slow down in our life? Like taking meals, and instead of working while you're eating, doing nothing but eating. Just these simple mindful things. But when you couple mindfulness with an understanding of the nervous system, it takes it to another level, in my opinion. Because mindfulness, I was like, yeah, I've been doing that for years. Mindfulness with an understanding of the nervous system is like for me, that, I don't know what it was, but it clicked something more into place. Tapping. Yep. Slow down. Are we the same person? I think we probably are, Sarah. Yeah. Yep. Do things till the last second and then run out the door, and then you're running late, and then you're wondering why you're like anxious and stressed out, and it's just like, it's just a vicious cycle. Okay, so I mentioned slow down. I mentioned squeezing. You can also kind of do little gentle but slightly hard punches along your body, because we want to get out of our head, we want to get back in our body, and then always try to end everything with your feet flat on the floor, feeling into your feet or your pelvis, closing your eyes, and then hands over your heart is just a signal to your brain, especially if you do it often. I know I do it a lot in here with you guys. It's a signal to your brain that we're safe, as well as the breathing in through the nose, nice and slow, out through the nose. So let's just finish this way together. Feet flat on the floor, hands on the heart, eyes closed if that's okay with you. In through the nose to a count of 4. Hold at the top, exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a moment. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So awesome, everybody. So I hope that you learned so much today. Thank you for those of you that were really active in the comments. I really appreciate that. And last thing I want to say is, starting next month, I'm kind of looking at my calendar. I've been kind of, taking time for myself lately and not teaching really at all. But I'm feeling the call to get back out there and do some of this work with you all. So I am going to be the plan. I haven't really reached out. I kind of have, and I know it's fine. But the plan is to do a couple in-person events next month. August 11th would be in Dubuque at Body and Soul in the evening, and then August 13th in the morning at Tula in Cedar Rapids. And then starting August 22nd, so I know it's a bit away, I'm going to be leading, it's called my 7-Day Nervous System Reset program, and it's going to be every day with me for 7 days. I'm still working out exactly how that's going to look. I feel like there'll be some aftercare going on after the program. Just know you can't reset your nervous system completely in 7 days, but that's the title that Spirit gave me. It just dropped in one day a while ago, back in April, when I thought I was going to do it, but it hasn't fully manifested yet. It's called the 7-Day Nervous System Reset, and so it's a reset of your nervous system. So we're really going to be deep diving into a lot more tools, information, and just having that group environment. Probably do some energy healing. Again, I don't 100% see the full picture of it yet, but I need to get something rolling with it, so I wanted to put a date down. So if you can join me for any of those activities, I would love to see you. And the in-person events, I will most likely do them online as well. So live online or recorded or something like that. So if you can't make it live, there will be that option. And then again, we'll be doing more of a really beautiful, cozy environment of learning how to heal and reset our nervous systems together for an extended period of time. And there's just so much goodness that wants to come through, and I'm excited to share. And wow, it's been 44 minutes, so if you're still here and still watching, thank you. If you stayed for the whole the whole shebang in the replay. Let me know in the comments. I always like to know who watches later. And I just love each and every one of you. I want you to know that you're seen, you're loved, you're validated. And again, that this space is here to provide that loving support for you, for all of us, to be able to heal, grow, and rise. So, always share any questions that you have. And yes, that is all. Oh, awesome, Sarah. Yay, saving that practice. Oh yes, 44. I know, angel numbers. Okay, sending you all a big hug, a wonderful weekend, and looking forward to seeing you in the next live. That's all for now. Bye, y'all.